Can I thumbs up? That I want to see your energy. Awesome, awesome. That's fantastic. Cool. I'll give you a very quick intro. This will be a super fun and very exciting talk in itself, like a panel discussion, because I myself am a huge fan of her work. Like if you go through her content, it's so beautiful. Like you get to sit at home and travel the world. That's the kind of impression she creates. So I'll just quickly give a intro about Tanya. She's one of the best travel influencers you'd come across. If you just go through her content on Insta or YouTube, you'll realize what kind of amazing journeys she makes. So I'm personally a huge fan of her works, and you should check out too. You should check out especially her Everest Base Camp information guide wala video. Like the moment you see it, you'll add it to your bucket list. She created that content in that structured way and very appealing. And you should check out her entire series. You'll definitely add it to your bucket list. It takes a lot of efforts and guts to do what she does. She does it with a lot of ease. Like when you see her on the panel now, you'll realize that she's very cool. She's not burdened at all. But if you look at the content, it's like it takes a lot of effort to pull out such kind of great visuals. So let's talk to find out how she figured out her niche and take help from her and try to get our niche out of this as well. By the end of this session, we'll take tips from her and figure out our niche. Okay, make sense? Can we have some thumbs up? Super. I'm so excited to see the numbers going up. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Munish, same here. Looking forward to the session. I'm just asking the speaker to come in. Awesome. So you're here.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Shrihan. How are you?
Great, great. How are you?
I'm good too.
Awesome. I was just telling about your Everest Base Camp. Like I've been telling about that to everybody whom I meet nowadays.
Yeah.
Amazing content and like a huge thank you from the entire team that you took out time for us to spend time with our attendees and share
Oh,
your
no problem. And in fact, my pleasure because I also get to interact with you and I also get to interact with our audience today. So that's going to be quite exciting.
super. Well, let's keep it very, very engaging. Like you ask questions, our crowd is very, very energetic. They just
Okay.
are there, right? Like I've been seeing them in this 2 days, right? They're out there with their questions. They're very responsive. Is it? Can I have some thumbs up from the crowd? See, I told you, they're just great.
That's amazing. In fact, I can't wait to see what kind of questions do we have lined up. In fact, we'll ask some questions to the audience too. So let's see what happens, how this goes.
Absolutely. Cool. Tanya, I'll quickly kickstart our stuff because this is only till 4:40. We just have
Yeah.
jump right there. We know that you have done some amazing journeys as an influencer. Like we look at your pictures, videos. You have done some amazing journeys. Now I want to understand how did this journey of being an influencer start? All yours.
Okay. It started with just the thought that I want to do something online. It first started with the idea that I want to travel. I was traveling quite frequently back when I was in college. Then I picked up a corporate job right after college because I got placed from there. And even then, I wanted to continue traveling. And then I realized, is there a possibility that I can make travel my work? I really want to make this happen because I don't want to live a corporate life all my life. I want to do something more exciting, something more on the road, on the go. So is it possible? So I got down to research and I realized that yes, maybe it is possible if I get into content creation for travel. So that is where the idea sparked. And then I started creating photos and videos. Eventually, I started off with a blog first, then with an Instagram account, then with YouTube. And I would keep sharing relevant information about travels and present it in a nice way so that it would be helpful to others. And it was a journey in itself. I learned a lot of things along the way. And with that start, that I finally am where I am today.
And I was seeing your Insta post recently. Like you have recently made it full time, is it? You have quit
Oh,
your.
yeah, I made it full time like 2 years back in
Okay.
2018. Yes.
That would have been a proper decision making time in your head with respect to content creation on one side and
In fact, when I took that decision, it wasn't like my content was doing amazingly well. I was learning a lot of things, but in terms of audience, in terms of reception, it wasn't like it was instant. It wasn't like I was getting a lot of gratification out of doing it, at least through social media. I was just getting gratification from it internally because I was getting to travel and also do fun things like learning how to create content or clicking photos, learning how to operate a camera, making videos, making Instagram posts. So all of that was very exciting to me. Not that it was leading to anything, but it did spark an idea that maybe I want to do this full time. So let's just take the plunge. I wasn't very secure per se कि नहीं मेरे पास बहुत पैसे हैं, नहीं मेरे पास बहुत ही secure audience है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. I just knew that I want to make this happen. So I took the plunge anyway and I kept working at it. And because I was out of the corporate job, I had a lot of time to work on it. So Correct. That is how it started.
Wow. Let's create a very quick poll. I think many of them here would want to do that. So let's see how they respond. I'm creating a poll if they want to quit their job and do it full time.
Yeah, please tell us, what do you guys think? Would you want to also take a similar plunge? And if yes, then how will you plan your future? Let's discuss it.
Yeah.
We have Somali saying, yes, I want to.
Awesome. Super.
Since we have at least 2 yeses right now, I will also give some tips on how you can make it happen. Who won't? Yes. Oh, lots of yeses. I think 2 quick tips would be that, content is king and you have to make a lot of relevant content if you want to make travel your job. And second is, even though you know that you can make it happen, always keep something that you can fall back on. So before I quit my job, I started saving for 6 months at least. And I also invested in a lot of equipment, not a lot, but at least some equipment to get started off with to create YouTube videos and to create good content, like a nice phone. I was using a Google Pixel back then, and a nice camera. I was using a very nice vlogging camera and also a GoPro. So those were at least the starter equipment that I invested in from my job, and I saved up for it, paid EMIs for 6 months or at least. And I gave myself those 6 months to save money as well as invest in equipment. So get a similar plan for yourself in place if you also want to do something similar.
Amazing. So what excites you most in this path? Like in this entire influencer journey, what is the most exciting part which keeps you doing what you do?
I think the number one exciting part is the authentic interaction with people itself. So, it's not instantaneous, but even that dialogue, to have that dialogue with somebody, even when I started off, I found it very interesting because social media is all about being social, right? Now it's up to you how you utilize it, of course, but the first time when I received a message or a DM saying, oh, this content is so useful, or whatever you said made a difference to me, or I got motivated to travel solo because of you, or anything, any nice, sweet message. And even if it was just one message in like a week, because when I started off, obviously I started from no audience interaction, but then it was a little, then a little more, then a little more. So meeting people, interacting with people, and having that audience interaction and a dialogue is very, very crucial. And also it makes you feel very happy about doing relevant work. And it makes you feel like you've sort of met your life purpose in helping people somewhat. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. I will quickly move on to my next. If someone wants to be a travel influencer, I'm sure a lot of them in the crowd want to. What's one advice which they should take note of? Otherwise they would have generally missed that advice. What is that one advice you would give they would otherwise miss?
Okay, so first you need to, of course, travel. Now that doesn't mean long trips, short trips, budget trips, luxury trips. Find whatever suits you, because you have to be interested in traveling first. So if you want to be a travel influencer or a travel content creator, you have to create content for like-minded people who are interested in what you have to say or present, whether it is a motorcycle trip or a road trip, or it is a budget trip or a backpacking trip, or you're going to some place which is unexplored, or you're presenting it in a way which people might like. Find what suits you. What is it that you want to specifically add to your journey or to your story? It can be anything. There is no limitation, but you have to find what is it that you want to add value to. And that is how I started too, honestly. I was into traveling. I was into backpacking back in the day when I started. And I think the first video of mine that actually really did well was backpacking in Meghalaya. So that is how the journey started. And I found something that I was interested in. And over time, I think I've also evolved in terms of what I enjoy doing, what my audience enjoys doing. But you have to find an intersection. This is something I say often to my audience also, but you have to find an intersection between what you think people want on social media, plus what is it that you want to do, and what will you find joy in creating. If you think you'll find joy in creating travel content, then what specific kind of travel content you will find joy in, and how can it help people? So find that narrow intersection between these two circles, and I think you'll find success, some success at least to start off with the kind of content you're creating.
Awesome. That's one super advice. Like, I think they would have loved this advice totally. So when you started this journey, like, did you have a plan of, because this is something which you love that I'm able to see. So did you also have thoughts of how do I make it sustainable? Like, how will I eventually make revenue out of it when you started?
Yeah, of course. Revenue was always on my mind, which is why I think my first choice was YouTube, because I knew that no matter how slow the start is, even if I'm getting just 1,000 views a video, at least it will get monetized eventually. YouTube is a platform that is monetizable very easily with regards to the views you get on your videos. It won't be instantaneous, but it is a short platform that can grant you revenue. Maybe Instagram is going to be slower than YouTube in that regards. So I knew that I wanted to get on YouTube and create as much content as is possible, so that it gets monetized faster or sooner. So my first content strategy was that I want to get on a platform like YouTube so that I can monetize it. The second content strategy was that I want to keep working on Instagram and other social media platforms so that I can drive my audience to YouTube eventually. I was also working on Instagram, and I knew how Instagram works, in the sense that you have to be smart, in the sense that try and understand the platform that you're on, what is trending, what is working. Do a lot of content based on what you love also, but also keep observing the analytics also. Try and understand the platform, in the sense of how can you create relevant content for the platform also. For example, when I started off, a lot of people used to post horizontal pictures, but eventually we realized that doing vertical pictures is more useful and beneficial if you're doing Instagram. So if you're traveling, try and click vertical pictures also, so that you can specifically post it on Instagram. And then there were so many other things also over the period of time. I've realized that, you have to curate content. You have to use apps that can help you make your feed look nice, edit it in a certain way so that it pops on the feed. What colors will make the picture pop? So there's a lot of thought that goes behind this also. And if you want to do it as your career, then you have to put some thought into these aspects of content creation also, instead of just doing it randomly. So if you're really driven to make it your career, first is, of course, passion. Second is some mindful thinking with regards to how to make things work. And third is working and analyzing, creating a report in your own head, or maybe even on a notepad. Write it down if you're comfortable with it, or write it on an Excel sheet if that's what works for you. Write down what's working, what's not working. And with each little piece of success or failure, make a report or an analysis for yourself that, okay, maybe this was a little bit of a failure, but did I learn something from it? Was there something good that happened out of it? And if you keep doing that, keep analyzing it critically, or not even critically, just be analytical about it, you will eventually learn how to create better content.
Amazing. So that's one great takeaway, that you should be also logical while you're following your passion.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody needs to be logical. We can't just rely on being dreamy and being passionate. That is one part of it, but you have to find a balance between also being logical.
Observe the data, what's happening out there.
Yes, exactly. Oh, another tip is that you should also follow Google Trends. What news is trending? What locations are trending? What are people looking for, searching for? So that is also something that you can look out for if you are starting off with your content journey.
Awesome. That's great tips. I think everybody would see it. I see a lot of likes already for those tips. Fantastic. So let's jump to the title of this session, how to find your niche. So I'll first ask you, what is your niche and how did you find it?
What is my niche and how did I find it? Okay, so initially when I started off with content creation, I used to post a lot of things, especially when I was in college. That is when I first got my Instagram account. And I used to post a lot of things from my day-to-day life. Now, I used to post about if I'm going swimming, would post a picture with the swimming pool, or if I was going for a hike, I would post a picture just from my experience. If I was home, I would post a picture of my cat. Or if I was looking up at the sun, I would post a picture of the sun. So while I thought I was being very artistic in posting all of these pictures, they still seem quite randomized because it can be anybody's life, it can be anybody's story. So you have to start writing a story if you want to create specific content. And a niche just means that you think for yourself that what is that one thing that you think you can repeatedly keep talking about. And by repeatedly, I mean you can be consistent in that regard. For some people it's fashion, for some people it's makeup, for some people it's bike riding, or maybe talking about cars. Because if they can consistently follow through, if they have the if it sparks joy in them, if it gives them happiness to be talking about these things repeatedly and consistently, then that can be their niche. For me it was travel, because I used to consistently and repeatedly travel for myself, not because I wanted to get travel sponsors or not because I wanted to make money out of it. It was just something that I was also doing. I was also saving up from my salary and traveling nearly every month. And I was making out time for it. So I knew this was something I could consistently follow through with. And once I realized that, I started collecting all of my travel pictures from my college time, from my recent travels while I was working. And then I started posting all my pictures with what I wanted to talk about those places. And that is when I started seeing that, oh yes, this is kind of becoming like a pyramid. My account, instead of being randomized at the bottom, it's kind of coming together like a pyramid, like a building.
Wow. So this is a very well articulated statement which you have made regarding niche. Like, that is one thing which you would want to keep talking about very consistently. Like I did a similar workshop yesterday, but the way you have articulated is like very, very good.
Thank you. Because I've come to realize that is how I felt about content too. And once I started posting more about travel, like I was just saying, it came together like a structure, like a building or a pyramid. And then I realized that, yes, I also started seeing a lot of people who were interested in the similar field and who started interacting with my posts naturally, whether it was because of hashtags or whether it was because of the kind of pictures I was posting. That is irrelevant. The first most relevant point is that what is it that you want to talk about? What is your story? Right. And then I started building a story around it on my social media. Because I knew what my niche was somewhat, at least I had a rough idea. I started creating a story around it every time I would travel. I would keep posting about, so this is my next destination. Guess what my next destination is? I'll give you a few hints what they are. And once you start creating that story and bring it all together, that is when you know that, yes, you have finally found your niche for social media.
Absolutely. I'll quickly take one question from the audience before we move. Tina asks, in which year did you start your journey, and share your struggles? I think initial struggles.
Okay. So I started my journey in the year, blog journey per se started in the year 2017. And by the end of 2017, I started off Instagram at the start of 2017, very niche content per se. Before that, I was on it. But YouTube started at the end of 2017, and by 2018, beginning January, I had quit my job. So it was a very short journey. Somebody's also asking, what is your age? I'm 27 now, but I started when I was 24. So it's been 3 years that I've been creating content. And so the initial struggle was monetary struggle, because I wanted to really do this as a full-time job, but monetary struggle in the sense that I wanted to save up, I wanted to buy equipment. It was a lot of monetary pressure for somebody who's 24 and wanting to quit her job. It's not like I hated my job, which is a very normal cliche that, I don't like my job, which is why I want to quit it. I did not hate it. I actually quite liked it. I had a very supportive team. I loved my team lead. It was a nice job to have, and it was also paying me pretty well, but I really wanted to do this more. So monetary struggle in the sense that I've had a lot of pressure on me, self-generated pressure on me that I really want to make this work. Second, the way I solved it was by saving, and also I picked up a freelancing job, and I tried my hands at a few freelancing jobs. I tried becoming a social media manager for an account. Two channels, in fact. I got lucky that back then. Two channels which are based in the US. One was a food channel and one was a meme channel, and I was a social media manager for them. So that is one way that I solved it. But also a few months later, I realized that I couldn't have kept up with it with my other content and YouTube content also. So I had to dip into my savings anyway. The second challenge was finding what content I want to make. Now, see, this is also a big challenge when you're a starter, because you want to make travel content, but what kind of travel content? With regards to YouTube videos, I knew I enjoyed making YouTube videos a lot, which is why I stuck to it. But what kind of videos also do I want to make them informational, sitting at one place and making informational videos, or making vlogs? Do I want to do daily vlogs, or do I want to do vlogs every once in a while when I'm traveling? Or do I want to make them cinematic, or do I want to add a filmmaker's touch to it? So this is also a journey that I came to terms with time, but it was another struggle, and finding out and figuring out what is working, what's not working, analytics, and sometimes the stress of, oh, nothing's working, it's not working out. That stress was also a part of my journey. So it's been a full circle of a lot of struggles, but a lot of happiness also along with it.
Absolutely. So my, in fact, next question, you have answered one of my next questions already. So I was coming to what should these travel influencers, or like what should any influencer do, like as an actionable item to find out their niche? What should they be doing? Like, for example, after this session, if they go back, what should they do in order to figure out their niche? And do you think everybody would be able to figure out their niche? Like, those are two questions which are back to back.
See, if you keep doing it with if you keep putting consistent effort into finding your niche, you will find it. So the reason why I say that is, one thing is what you're already doing, take cues from that. If you're already traveling, then what kind of travels are you more inclined to do? Do you like air travel? Do you like traveling by trains? Do you think you can talk about trains, or do you think you can talk about flights? You can take cues from your lifestyle patterns only. And you can pick cues, any kind of cues. And because the internet is a free space, you can talk about whatever it is that you can contribute from your lifestyle or from your travel choices or life choices. For example, when people start off with, say, beauty blogs, right? They pick up the makeup that they already have with them, not what they want to or aspire to buy. So even similarly with travel, take cues from what you already do. What kind of travel do you prefer? Do you prefer going to locations which are very unseen, very, very unheard of, or do you go to the most touristy places? And do you like to visit all the things that are mentioned on websites, and do you like to tick them off one after the other? There's nothing right and nothing wrong in any kind of content or in any kind of niche that you pick up, but take cues from what you already do first, and then try and create content around it, because there's going to be value for every kind of content. I've even seen travel content which only covers touristy destinations, and I've even seen travel content that only shares itineraries, or I've even seen travel content that is only very dreamy and cinematic. And believe me, there's an audience for all three kinds of travel content also. So if you want to find your niche, think of what you can be good at, what you can develop your skill towards, and that is how you'll be able to find your niche. But you have to consistently keep analyzing your own self, your own behavioral patterns, and what lifestyle choices you already make. This is a start point, and then of course you can keep evolving along the way also. If you find some success in doing a certain thing, you can take cues from that. If you like doing something else more, you can take cues from that. And over time, if you consistently keep following through, you'll find your niche. But also, one advice is that don't ever go by what other people are doing. I know you can take inspiration from what people are already doing, but don't go by ki, oh, us creator ne aisa create kiya, uski video chal gayi, so I'll also do this. Us creator ne aisa kiya, uski videos ki millions of views ho gaye, so I'll also do this. The problem with this strategy is that everybody has their own style of creating something. And if you go and follow somebody else, while taking inspiration is great, it may not guarantee success to you, because you won't be able to follow through over and over again. So if you want to be successful at being a travel content creator, try and be as original with your niche as possible. Not with your niche, but with your ideas and how you present your ideas. Be unique and original with how you present yourself.
Yeah, that should be the authentic content coming out of you. So, I don't know how many of you guys know that she's doing multiple things. Like, I started off with Insta, then I figured out, oh no, it's not just Insta. She has a YouTube channel. In fact, two YouTube channels, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, 2 YouTube channels.
Two YouTube channels, Instagram, and she's also doing a newsletter. You should definitely subscribe to it. Like, she's sending out some amazing content out there. Newsletter, YouTube channel. Am I missing out on anything else? Insta, and you're also on Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
all social media, also YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
more things coming soon.
wow. So you should look out for her page for more updates and what all she's trying new. And my question here is, how do you decide which content goes where? Like, this should be on Instagram, this should be on a newsletter, or should this be on YouTube? Like, let's pick these three: newsletter, Instagram, and YouTube. How do you differentiate a particular content?
So it's very it kind of is based on what platform you are on. And like I mentioned before also, you should have an understanding of what platform is good for what. Excuse me. So if you want to share long format content, for example, a 10 to 15 minute video, or maybe even 8 minute video about a certain subject, then YouTube is the best platform for it because it is known for long format content. And also, the longer your videos are, the more ad revenue also you tend to make from it. Although that's just a side note, but not the main purpose. The whole understanding of what medium is good for what is a good way to decide what kind of content you should post on it. So if I want to make a video about, so my second channel that he's mentioned is about my home and setting it up, and also about my lifestyle just in general. So everything around my lifestyle, which is not to do with travel, because that is one thing which is already something that I talk about on my first channel. So much so that in the second channel, I decided I'll create a completely new niche which has nothing to do with travel. So on my second channel, whenever there's something which I want to talk about at length and is something to do with the second niche that I have picked up, that is how I decided it should go on the second channel. For example, I started the channel with a home tour of the new place that I've moved into. I am currently sitting in my office room, so I've shown this in my videos also. And anything to do with this second niche is what goes on the second channel. The main channel, the first channel that I started off with, any long format travel video which has to do with only travel. And discussion tab में किसी ने मुझसे पूछा भी है that what do you do differently to make engaging content? So my travel content, what niche that I follow is emotions se bhara hua travel. In the sense, not over the top emotions if you are getting confused, but it's just very personalized format of how I travel and how I feel when I'm traveling. And I make it a little cinematic also. I put in a lot of effort into shooting the video, editing it. And while providing information, I also provide an experience of how you would feel when you are at the same location. So if you go back and check my EBC videos, they will give you a sense of, oh, you're also walking among the mountains and you're also feeling the wind on your face and you're also feeling cold because it's hella cold out there. So that is the kind of videos I make. And I make them in a sort of cinematic way so that it becomes more engaging. So that is the content niche I follow. And if I want to create any video for that content niche, I put it on that channel. For my Instagram, I mostly stick to only very short video clips for reels and posts. I don't do a lot of long format content for Instagram because I feel like personally that it doesn't work too much, even though there is IGTV. But over time, I've done a lot of iterations and tests on Instagram and seen that it doesn't seem to work as well, unless there's something that you absolutely want to talk to your Instagram community about, which is longer format, then it's a different thing. And another thing that helps me differentiate which content goes where is the audience itself. Now, even though you would assume that I am on all these platforms, my audience is going to be the same, it's not, because my YouTube audience is different, my Instagram audience is different, and even as consumers, we are different people when we go on different platforms. Maybe somebody who likes to consume Instagram often is not going to go to YouTube and consume a lot of YouTube. So it's also a very not natural human trait that you're not going to be fond of each platform. Similarly, each platform has different kind of audience for a creator also. My Instagram audience is different, my YouTube audience is different. There may be some intersection between the audience, but mostly it's different. And that is how I treat it, that there is something I want to say to my Instagram audience, there's something I want to say to my YouTube audience. I want to go live for my YouTube audience, I want to go live for my Instagram audience, or send out newsletters to people who've subscribed to the newsletter, which is going to be a very personal message, letter kind of a thing. So that is how you decide how and where the content should go, and how will your audience react to it.
Super. So actually, I have a set of questions, but I want to chuck them all, and because there are some beautiful questions in the discussions channel, so I'll pick them up one by one.
Yeah.
So this is the first one. Janvi Chowda has asked this question. I'm only 21 and have a dream to travel the world. Please guide me. How should I finance my travel? Like, I think she's meaning initially, like, because she's just starting and she's only 21. How does she finance her travel to fulfill her dream? That's the question.
Okay. So, Janvi, I started traveling when I was just 19. I was in college and in my second year, and I just started traveling from my college itself because I used to stay in a hostel. And the way I used to finance them was that whatever allowances I got from my home. So I used to get allowances for paying hostel mess ka bill and allowances for basic expenditure, chahe wo bahar khana ho, movies dekhne jana ho, ya fir whatever you do when you're a college kid, right? I used to get a very meager, not meager, ठीक ठाक, मतलब 5,000 allowance होती थी मेरी college time पे, even though I was living by myself in a hostel. And I used to save a majority of it by not eating out, by not going to movies, by not hanging out with my friends, not spending any of my money on things that I did not want to do, like shopping, whatever. I used to only save all my money to travel. And it's a very difficult choice to make sometimes, because you do want to hang out with your friends also, and you do want to have a good life also. But then you have to prioritize what's the meaning of a good life to you. If you want to travel, then save for travel. Don't spend on things that you don't really need. So I, from a very young age, developed this habit of only spending on what I really need, instead of spending on everything that was trending, or what ads were shown to me, or what I was incited into buying or shopping for or getting in my life. So that is how I started traveling, and I'm sure you can too with your allowances, no matter how much they are or how less they are. Save, develop the habit of saving, make your own bank account, invest also if the time permits or if you have interest in it, and then start traveling.
Awesome. I think she'll be super happy with your advice. So there is one more question from Mrinalini Sachan. Now that you're creating home and lifestyle content, did it help you attract a new audience? Also, how to retain your original audience when you introduce a new flavor to your content? That's I think, very legit question.
Yeah, very legitimate question. And honestly, it was difficult for me to make this segue into new content, because it wasn't like it happened overnight again. इसके साथ भी मुझे थोड़ा सा सोचना पड़ा, सोच विचार करना पड़ा कि is this the right move? Is this something that I want to do? But I think I found the motivation to do it because of these times also, COVID times. And honestly, even though I know that traveling is okay right now, in the sense that if you take precautions, states are opening up, travel is opening up. But for the longest time, I did not know if that was going to be a possibility. So while I was stressed about the future of travel, the industry, all of that, I also wanted to remain calm and do things that I enjoy doing, irrespective of how the world was and how miserable everybody around me, and including me, felt. And no matter how grim everything seemed for that short span of time. So I wanted to remain happy, and I started doing a lot of things besides thinking about travel or planning my future trips also that made me happy. In fact, I started traveling because it made me happy. So I wanted to find newer things also and evolve as a person. So that is when I found this new category of content that I wanted to also explore. And it did help me gain a lot of new audience. In fact, my main channel has a 70-30 split of male to female audience. I don't know why that is, but it's just the way it is, that there's a 70-30 split of male to female audience. But on my second channel, there's a 70-30 split of female to male audience, which means that I've been able to attract a new audience. In fact, it's funny when I think of it, but a lot of my friends have started texting me and saying that my mom is watching your new channel. And I don't think somebody's mom would have been an audience for my main channel, because moms may not be that interested in traveling. But now I have this whole new set of audience that is watching my content. And I don't care who that audience is, because I really love the fact that there is somebody's mom who's watching my content. It makes me feel so happy. When my friend texted me and said that, I was like, oh my God, I feel so happy that your mom is watching my content, of all people. And similarly, not just one friend, 2-3 friends texted the same thing to me. Ki, oh, my mom wants recommendation on what to buy, vagera, vagera, kuch aisa. So yeah, it's a pretty good feeling to have. Ki new people are coming in and watching you, people who you never anticipated or expected. And while it was tough, retaining an audience is also a question. And I think the way I am currently trying to manage it is at least that I'm trying to create a differentiation of content on my two channels. I'm not trying to make any intersection of it. Ki इस पे भी same kind of video जा रही है, इस पे भी same kind of video जा रही है. There are two completely different kinds of videos going on two different channels. So the audience itself is different for the two channels. And I want to keep this differentiation because I don't want to displease my already existing audience. I want them to also feel that I'm still creating content for them. I'm still there for you. If you want to see these kind of travel videos, I'm still uploading them. So that is the differentiation. And on Instagram, it's been a little more challenging because I tried to experiment with a lot of different kind of content. And थोड़ा सा मेरे को समझ में आया कि लोग थोड़े चिढ़ रहे हैं कि oh, they are not enjoying the second kind of content. So let's create a balance of what people enjoy and plus जो मैंने पहले बोला था, intersection of what I like creating plus what people want to watch. It's okay.
Crazy. I think there is one very interesting question from Wanderbird Navya. Most genuine question, I suppose. How did you convince your parents and what were their reaction?
Okay. So before I even convinced them that I wanted to travel full time, मैंने already उन्हें ये पहले बताया था कि मैं travel करती हूँ. So I remember I told you I started traveling when I was 19. Now my parents are okay with internet, with worldly issues. They're well read. They read a lot. They even watch a lot of videos. So I knew that they would be okay with me traveling, but at such a young age, 19, which is not quite acceptable per se in India, especially somebody who's doing it in college, it just flags all kind of wrong emotions in parents. So I was very apprehensive about telling them initially that I used to travel. And I finally broke the news to them about that because I realized that I can't continue like this forever. I can't be dishonest with my parents or not tell them about a major part of my life. And also another incident that took place was that I was on a trek and it was a snowy, stormy day. And while I was stuck in a storm, I realized that my parents don't even know where I am right now. And that's a scary thought. I don't think I want to do this. I am not the kind of person who can conceal this from my parents forever. So as soon as I returned from that trek, I told my parents everything. I wrote an email to my parents because that was a safe place for me. Writing is my safe place. I knew that. And they obviously responded. They were quite shocked and they responded with very varying emotions ki ye kya ho raha hai, kyun ho raha hai. But eventually they came to terms with it after I told them that I have never put my safety at risk. Except for that trek, they don't need to know. I've never put my safety at risk. I've always been a very responsible person. मैंने अपनी पढ़ाई को कभी सफर नहीं होने दिया. I've never got a back in college. मैं हमेशा पढ़ाई करती हूँ and I only save money to travel. I'm trying to be as responsible as I can about it. And after having that open conversation, they came to terms with the fact that yes, I travel. Which is why even when I was working on a job and I used to travel, and this time on my own money, not on allowances, I used to travel on my own money. So they were okay with that also. Eventually, when I wanted to shift to YouTube as a career, I started showing them a lot of YouTube videos of creators abroad, India mein, kahin pe bhi. And I told them that this is also a field which is monetizable because YouTube pays you ad revenue. And I am projecting that in the next 6 months, I will be able to monetize my channel. So because I seemed so confident in it and they knew I was also working hard towards it, I was working on editing my videos every single night, after work. So I used to come back from office and edit my videos and I continued doing that for the first 3 months of my YouTube channel. And because they saw that, they did have faith in me that yes, she'll make it happen. And they were very excited to be a part of the journey.
Awesome. So we are running out of time. We are just 1 minute away. I'll quickly take one last question from Sakshi Rajat. This is a very interesting question. Is it really important to have a niche? I have interest in things like travel, food, and DIY. Do you think it makes sense to put out all content on the same channel?
Okay, so the reason why I think it is important to have a niche is because when somebody comes on your social media platform, chahe wo YouTube ho, chahe wo Instagram ho, kuch bhi ho, what is it that they will recognize with, right? Somebody is interested in food and is looking for food videos. Somebody is interested in DIY and is looking for DIY videos. And likewise, somebody is interested in travel and looking for travel content. Now, they may not be interested in all the three things together, or they may be. You could get lucky. But when you combine three niches together, it just becomes all the more difficult to attract an audience and make them stick, because maybe they came for a travel video which did really well and a lot of audience came onto your page, but the next thing you post is a DIY video, and maybe those people would not be interested in clicking on that DIY video. So while it is something which is very personal and how you present it, it's also important to have a niche to not confuse your audience as to what they're looking for in your videos. If they connect with you personally, which is I think every creator's end goal, कि मैं चाहती हूँ या चाहता हूँ कि my audience comes back to my channel for me, or for the videos I'm creating, or for listening to my thoughts. That's every creator's end goal, but that may not happen right away from the onset. So creating a niche helps you attract an audience to start off with. And I'm speaking from a very logical standpoint right now. Even if you follow somebody, you would notice that most of their content is very streamlined and structured, and you enjoy their content more because of what they have to say or contribute to that subject. Maybe उसके आसपास के peripheral subjects पे भी बातचीत होने लग जाएगी eventually. But having a niche is important because you don't want to confuse your audience, or you don't want to confuse the people who follow you as to what it is that you majorly talk about, or what is it that they should associate with you. And I think over time you'll be able to create videos in a lot of content categories, and you can do that from the onset also, but it's always a smarter move to have a niche to grow and create content. Even for yourself, you'll be more organized in your brain if you have a niche.
Amazing. And that was very, very exciting session. Let me tell you, this is the most one of the most liked sessions in the conference so far. It has close to 6,300 likes on this.
Oh my goodness, really? Okay.
Great applause from the audience. Like, those likes buttons were flowing all throughout the session. And
thank you so much, guys. Let the likes keep flowing. I really enjoyed interacting.
Like, the advices were spot on. Like, people would have benefited a lot. Like, if I was a travel influencer, I would have loved such a session. And thank you so much for your time and very deep insights. We wish you a lot more travel and more experiences to share with all your audiences. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. You can click on the go backstage. Angela will be with you right away.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. There you go, guys. I really like your energy with in these sessions. Keep your questions coming. There is limited time. We do our best to put out those questions. You can always go to launch to catch up with them and ask your questions. And I'm sorry if I'm not able to pick all the questions, but we are doing our best to accommodate them in the limited time we have. And those were some amazing questions. Hope the session was very helpful. See you in the next session. Thank you.